This video is going to be all about using the knockout feature that you can do with Cricut Design Space. This is actually a lot easier than I think people realize, especially since they added the offset option. So we're going to be using the offset, we're going to use weld, we're going to be using slice. So you're going to learn a lot of cool skills with this, and we're going to make 3 different designs: images, text, and then an image and text. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Everything we're using in this video is also linked down below to make things super easy, and they're all from 143 Vinyl, so use code Corinne to save 5% when you shop. Back in the day, we were not able to do these kinds of designs in Design Space because we had no offset. Now that we have an offset, it makes making these designs a lot easier, but if you'd like to learn how to do them in Inkscape, I'll link below a video that I did forever ago about using Inkscape. Nothing changed there, it's all the same, but because we can do it in Design Space, it can be done really quickly. So the first thing that you'll do is open up a text box. Now keep in mind that you can do this with any design that you want to. You can even use images, and I'll show you how to do that too a little further in. But we'll start with text first. Now I am going to change my font because I know I'm going to use Impact as my main lettering. So I'm going to change my font before I change anything else. So now I've got this font selected. You can go ahead and change the text. Now, sometimes it's a little bit wonky and like it does dumb things like what it just did. If it does that, just delete it and start over. You can see Design Space is a little bit glitchy this morning, and that happens. So I'm going to go ahead and type in what we're going to say. So we're going to say Hakuna, and then the next line will be ta. That's obviously a Lion King thing. I'm a big Lion King fan. Now, what I want to do, the Matata is a little bit smaller than the Hakuna. Bugs me. I like when I do these for my lines to be the same length. So to do that, I'm going to go up to Advanced, and I'm going to ungroup to Lines. Then all I'm going to do is see how wide the Hakuna is, and I'm just going to change it to like a whole number. We'll just change it to 4. And I'm going to do the same thing with Matata. I'm going to just change the width to 4. Then all I want to do is I'm going to put these pretty close together. I don't want them touching, like they're touching here. I just want them a little bit apart, just so there's a little gap. And then I'm going to select both items. I'm going to align them, and I'm going to center them horizontally. I'm going to make it bigger too, that way you can see really what I'm doing. We're not going to cut it this big, but I want to give you a lot of area to look at, especially if you're on mobile watching this. I know sometimes they can be a little bit small. Now, once you're happy with the lettering, you're happy with your font, you're happy with the sizing of your lines, you're going to need to weld this. Now, the reason we have to weld is because we'll be using Slice in just a moment. And in order to use Slice, you have to just use 2 layers. And you can see here that Hakuna and Matata are each their own separate layer. So I'm going to go to Combine, and I'm going to just click Weld. And you'll see up here in the Layers panel that it will become one single layer. Now let's add our second piece of text. So I'm just going to add that, and it's going to be, it means no worries. And I'm going to go ahead and change the color of Hakuna Matata really quick just so we can see it a little bit better. Now this, oops, I grabbed the wrong thing. Now this font here, sometimes, do you see how it won't let me grab this font? If it's doing that to you, because it does this quite often, click anywhere off of that font, and then you can select the other one just easily. Now this one I want to make a little more fun, and this one I'm going to use a font called Wheat Point. I'll link Wheat Point down below because that is a font that I downloaded, but Impact will be on your computer. So this is the font I want to use. It's called Wheat Point. It's really cute. It's a super fun font, and you can see it's just a just fun, playful font. Now what I want to do before I do anything else is I'm going to get my font to the size that I want it to be against my Hakuna Matata. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with like that sizing. Now, again, before I do anything else, just because it's, personal preference, I'm going to weld this just so that I don't see any of these cut lines. They bother me. You could also use Unite. I'm going to use Weld. I know I'm not going to go in and change it, so Weld is totally fine. Once I'm happy with that, let me go ahead and change the color of this again, just so we can really see our pieces and parts a little bit better. The next thing I want to do is select both of my items. I'm going to go to align, and this time I want to center them completely, so horizontally and vertically. Now, if you're not happy where that sits, that's totally okay. I think it sits a little lower than I would prefer. I would like it to take up a little more space of the hakuna. So I'm going to move it up to where I personally want it. And then I'm going to go ahead and select it. And this time I'm just going to align it or center it horizontally. And I think that looks pretty good. Now, the next thing we need to do is to add our offset to the It Means No Worries section. And this is what's going to cut out of the Hakuna Matata so that the It Means No Worries stands out. So what you'll do is select offset, and we're going to let that offset load a little bit. And you can make this as big as you want it or as small as you want it. It's truly up to you. I personally like a little bit of a smaller offset, but you do you. If you want a big offset, that's fine. That's probably going to be a little too big because it's going to cut out a lot of the Hakuna Matata letters, but you do what works for you. I kind of don't mind the 0.25. My only issue is right here where it's kind of sticking off because of the way the A's are, but we can always move it over. It doesn't have to be absolutely centered because of the way the A's sit. So I think I'll do that one. And I think I want to move everything over a little bit. So I want to select the offset and the weld result, and I'm just going to slide it over just a smidge. I just don't want it to cut off the edge of the A. Now that I'm happy with where that's sitting, we need to do a little bit of slicing, and this is super easy. You're going to grab the offset and the orange weld result, which is your Hakuna Matata. Now you'll see that I have the slice option down here at the bottom. If that slice option is not highlighted, it can be for a few reasons. Maybe you didn't select both of your layers. Perhaps you have more than 2 layers selected. Or you didn't weld this together, so you have 2 separate layers of your text. So there's a lot of reasons. If it's not highlighted, just double check that you've only got 2 layers and create 2 layers if that's your issue. Then go ahead and click slice. Now, slice might take a second to take effect, but once it does, you're gonna have a bunch of little pieces and it's gonna look really weird because it puts all your slice results on top. Now, what I wanna do is I'm gonna delete this black section. I'm gonna also delete this black section, and then I'm going to delete this orange section, and this is where you're gonna see the magic of doing this style of design. Look at how cute that is. It's super easy, super fun, and you can see it looks really, really cute. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and select this entire design, and I'm gonna go ahead and I wanna size it down because it's really big right now. I don't wanna make it that big. I'm gonna cut this on some opal, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it at a 7.5 inch or so. But what I'm gonna do right now, just because we're gonna be moving this around on our mat, and we're going to be moving it in our screen, is I'm going to group it really quick. And what group does is it just holds it together so that each of the pieces can move into together without you accidentally pulling one apart from the other. But I will show you what it looks like on our Make It screen. I'm going to go ahead and save this really quick, and we're just going to save this as Knockout and click Save. Once this saves, we'll see what it looks in the Make It screen just so you can see it really quick, and we'll come back and we'll make this in a second. But you can see we've got our Hakuna Matata held in place, and then our It Means No Worries. So really easy to do, really, really fun. But if we want to do this with an image, it's just as easy. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use some Design Space images, but you can pull images from anywhere that you want. Now, the key is when you use an image, you want it to be a solid image. So something like this little tater tot one isn't going to work because it doesn't have any solid pieces. So it's going to look a little bit weird if you did a knockout with it. But I'm going to show you how to do one with a solid image. So let me scroll, find something that'll work, and we'll come right back. Let's use this little cup. It's cute. It looks like it's going to work exactly like we want it to. And I like the design on it, and I think it'll look really good. So I'm going to add this to my canvas and click view. Now again, remember, you can use any image you want. You don't have to use a Design Space image. I'm just doing it for ease of use. Now again, the first thing that I'm going to do is double check that this is just a single layer. I can see here there's no other layers to it. I can't ungroup it. So it is a single layer. Now for this one, let's go ahead and do the text. We'll do summer, and let's do the second line as sips. Now again, use whatever font you want. I'll change my font just to something different so that we can kind of see some different options. And you have fun with this. Do whatever you want to do with it. Honestly, there's no wrong way to make your designs. This is just a guide to show you how to do it, but you can do it with your own images, your own designs, whatever you want to do, it's okay. So I'm going to use this cute little one called Stay and Shine. Again, I'll link all the fonts that I'm using down below. Now, this is a little bit far apart for like the way I want my design to look, the lettering, like the words. So what I can do, instead of having to like ungroup, because I don't mind that the sips is smaller, I'm going to use the line spacing tool up here at the top. It's right above this little slice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click this and I'm going to go to like -3 and just see if that's close enough. It's not. I want them pretty close. So I'm going to try -5. It's still not quite there. -7 is probably perfect. Yep, -7 is great. Now you'll play with that with whatever font you want, whatever design you want. You may not need to do that. Now for this one, I don't mind that it's going to go over the edges of my design. This is a fun way to make a design like this where you don't have to have it perfect. It can go over the sides. You do what you want. It's really up to you. Again, this is a fun thing that you can do. Now we're going to size it, make sure we're happy with our sizing, which I think I like that size pretty good, but I also want to make sure that it looks pretty centered. The issue with this one is we're not going to be able to use center because of where the straw sits. So you're just going to have to eyeball the center on the cup, but honestly, nobody will notice if it's a little bit off except you. So don't fret if it's not perfect, but I think it looks good where it's at. Now again, I'm just going to change the color of this just so that we can see the different pieces a little bit easier. Now I want to select my summer word here. And what I want to do is again, choose offset. Now again, choose the offset size that you personally want. I think this one's a little too big, so I'm going to size it down a little bit. Now I am going to go in and fix my offset just a little bit because I don't want it to be really big around my word summer, but you can see there's like these little holes in here. I don't want those. I'm going to get rid of them. Now what I'm going to do is click apply, and I'm just going to look at it and see kind of if I actually like it. And now that I look at it, I actually do kind of like with the holes in there, but we can always get rid of them if we don't. So let's look at it after we slice it and see what we think. Now you could leave it like this. This is also super cute. But let's say we just want that summer sips to stand out against that cup. All we have to do is grab that offset and grab the drink, and then again, simply click slice. Now keep in mind, you can do this with all sorts of images, so have fun with it. Now you'll see here, I've got these pieces that I can get rid of. So I'm going to get rid of this, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of that. I think that is absolutely adorable. It's so cute and so fun. So we're going to go ahead and use this one. I think it works really, really well. Now what I'm going to do is, again, just like I did with the Hakuna Matata, I'm going to size this down into like a manageable size. I think maybe a little bit bigger, but we're just doing these. We're going to cut them for fun. Now again, I'm going to group it and put it over to the side because I want to show you that you can also do this with 2 images. So it's a really fun way that you can make these cool little looking things without going crazy, and it's not a lot of work. So I'm going to go back into images, and this time I'm just going to find again 2 images that I can use an offset with to really show you how cool this is going to look. I'm going to use this paw print, and I already put a lightning bolt into my canvas, so this will be a really fun one. I actually have a friend whose dog is named Lightning, so this will be a cute design that I could make for them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that lightning bolt to the side, and I'm going to make my paw print, again, real big, and I'm going to change the color just so that we can see the difference in our designs. Now I'm going to send this to the back so that my lightning bolt sits on top of it. So if I wanted to make this, I'm going to go ahead and make my lightning bolt big, and I'm going to make it green. We're just going to do it so you can see the difference. Now, my lightning bolt's a little bit big because I don't want it to take up the whole paw, so I'm going to make it a little smaller because remember, we're going to do an offset. Now, for these 2, I am going to see how it looks if I go to align and fully center it. I think that looks perfect, so it's going to be really cute. Now, what I want to do is, again, use this offset option and allow that offset to exist, except that I accidentally have both selected. So just make sure you have the lightning bolt selected and use that offset option. And then I'm going to make this offset just a little bit smaller. And I don't know if this lightning bolt's gonna work perfectly because it has those little jagged edges, but I think it'll work okay. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that and click apply. Now, once I've got this kind of all ready to go and I'm happy with my offset, all I have to do is again, select the offset and the paw and slice. Then I can delete these upper sections of the slice and see what we think about the look. Partially, I think the colors are throwing me off. So I'm gonna change these to like better colors because I don't think I love those colors together. If that's the case, just change the colors up and you might like it even better. I actually think that's super cute, but you can see how easy that is to do when you're using very simple design like 2 images. So it's really a fun way that you can make these different designs. I'm gonna again go ahead and size this bad boy down just so we can cut it out because I want to show you what all of these are going to look like because they're all sort of a different style and a different way for you to use this offset knockout style method to really make your design stand out from another part of your design. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this and then I can simply cut it out. Now when I hit make it, I'm going to have a bunch of different mats because I've got a bunch of different colors. That's fine. I'm just going to cut them all on a bunch of different colors. I'm not worried about it. But you can see you've got lightning bolt, your drink, here's your Hakuna Matata words, summer sips, then we have it means no worries, and then finally we have our paw print. Now I don't know what I'm cutting them out on yet. I'm going to see what vinyl I have down in my craft room and we're going to go ahead and get these cut out. I'll show you how to easily layer them and then you're going to be a master at using the knockout method. We're ready to cut our vinyl. So I've just laid it out in the order that I want it to cut because it's all going to cut on its own sheet since we did so many different colors. So I'm going to go ahead and load these. We're just using permanent vinyl. 99% of this is StarCraft HD. There is 1 sheet of some leftover Avery. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this cut out and then I'm going to show you how to layer them super easy. Now, while we're cutting and getting ready to weed all of this vinyl, I just want to remind you to subscribe here. That way you don't miss out on anything we post. And also, you can always sign up for my free newsletter over at CorinneBlackstone.com. All the products that we're using here can be found at 143 Vinyl. And anytime you shop with them, you can save 5% using code Corinne, CORINNE, at checkout, and I'm going to link everything that we're using here down below. Now, shopping through my links is not going to cost you any more. It's actually going to save you some money with those codes, so be sure to use those when you shop. We've got everything weeded, and what we're going to do now is actually layer our designs. So let's start with this Summer Sips one. I think that one's really cute. So I'm using some medium tack transfer tape. This is my favorite tape, and I will link it down below for you. That way you can find it. But what I do, I'm going to pull out a piece that's big enough to fit the cup here, so I just sort of eyeball it. If it's a little bigger, it's okay. I'm not worried about it, but I want to make sure that I cut out a piece that will fit the cup for sure. And then I'm just going to trim this off of my roll and put that over to the side. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to take my Summer Sips cup and put it under my transfer tape with the sticky side up so it's not sticking to my vinyl, and that's just so I can guess about where I need to put the wording. The wording is not going to stick to the cup just this second. Now what I want to do is I want to take my squeegee and I want to burnish this from the back to make sure that the vinyl sticks to the transfer tape. I'm going to go ahead and remove this backing. And then all I want to do is I'm going to use some parchment paper. This is like a super helpful tool in your craft room. What you want to do, I'm going to scoop these out of the way, is you're going to take your bottom layer and slide it under your parchment paper. And then you want to leave just a little tail out, so just a little bit of your design out from under that. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to line up my words into the word little outline here, so into that knockout section. And once I'm happy with where it's sitting, I'm going to press that little tail down. Then all I want to do is take out my parchment paper and I'm going to simply lay down my letters. Now I do have a little letter hang off over here, but it's okay, no big deal. It's totally fine. I can just take a little piece of the other tape, like the backing, and place it behind that. But now you'll see we've got a great little decal. So you can do this with any of the ones that you want to make. I'm gonna leave that one off to the side and I'll do it one more time for you really slow. And then I'll get that last one done just super quickly. I'll do the paw print image one, since that one is kind of big and it's an image instead of a like words. So I'm gonna go ahead and again cut my transfer tape so that it fits over the paw. And then I'm gonna lay this across with it up, so the sticky side is up. And then I'm gonna put the lightning bolt down about where I think it should go. It's okay, again, if it's not perfect, no big deal. Then I'm gonna go ahead and burnish this from the back, remove this backing from my lightning bolt. Then I wanna slip my paw under my parchment paper. And then I'm gonna go ahead and leave that little tail out, line up my lightning bolt to where I'm happy. And the reason we use parchment paper is because vinyl doesn't stick to parchment paper. So if you're using like a butcher paper or a wax paper, your vinyl will stick, and I don't recommend using a wax because the wax paper can actually damage your vinyl. So you want to make sure that you are in fact using parchment paper. I'm not totally satisfied, so I'm gonna go ahead and just peel this back up a little bit. And I'm gonna try again. And that's why I really like using this method, because I can take my time, figure out where I'm happy, because the bottom wasn't lined up where I wanted it. That looks a little bit better, we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that parchment paper and then just press everything down. And now you see we've got our little paw print with the lightning bolt in it. Super easy. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Hakuna Matata one really quickly, and then we'll show you what they all look like all together. Designs came out so cute, and I hope that you learned some new fun skills to use with Cricut Design Space. Like I said, since they added the offset, this is so much easier, but I'll link below the video where I show you how to do this with Inkscape if you prefer to design outside of Design Space like I do. If you have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you're subscribed here, that way you don't miss out on any of our fun crafty content. And as always, happy crafting!